Is the Book of Daniel a true prophetic book or a pseudonymous forgery? This question has intrigued scholars for centuries. Today, we dive deep into the heart of this conundrum that has stirred a whirlwind of debate within the realm of biblical scholarship and beyond. The Book of Daniel, a significant part of the Bible, is known for its prophetic narratives and the compelling story of Daniel himself. From his remarkable interpretations of King Nebuchadnezzar's dreams to his unyielding faith in the face of the lion's den, Daniel's story has captivated readers for millennia. However, the authenticity of this book has been a point of contention among scholars, causing a ripple effect that has influenced how we perceive its divine inspiration and historical accuracy. Some scholars, particularly those with a more liberal perspective, question the authorship and dating of the Book of Daniel. They propose the Maccabean hypothesis, suggesting that the book was a product of the 2nd century BC, written not by Daniel, but by a Maccabean Jew. This theory, if accepted, could drastically change our understanding of the book and its place in biblical history. Yet there are those who ardently defend the traditional belief that Daniel himself penned this prophetic book during the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BC. They point to historical accuracies within the text and its inclusion in both the Hebrew and Greek scriptures as proof of its authenticity. The polarity of these views has led to a fascinating dialogue that delves into the heart of biblical interpretation, the nature of prophecy, and the very essence of truth and authenticity in ancient texts. Join us as we delve deeper into these arguments, examining both sides of the debate. As we journey through this labyrinth of perspectives and evidence, we'll seek to unearth the deeper truths behind the Book of Daniel, shedding light on the enduring question of its authenticity. Many have questioned the Book of Daniel's authenticity, pointing to a number of factors. A common argument against the book's authenticity is the Maccabean hypothesis. This theory suggests that the Book of Daniel wasn't written by the prophet Daniel in the 6th century BC, but rather was penned by a Maccabean Jew in the 2nd century BC. Critics who support this hypothesis argue that the book's detailed prophecies about Antiochus IV Epiphanes, a 2nd century BC ruler, are too precise to be genuine predictions, suggesting a post-event authorship. The placement of the Book of Daniel within the Hebrew division of biblical books also fuels the fire of this debate. Unlike other prophetic books, Daniel is found in the writings section of the Jewish canon, not the prophets. This has led some to question whether the ancient Hebrews even considered Daniel a prophet, further casting doubt on the book's authenticity. The views of the Neoplatonist philosopher Porphyry also add to the skepticism. Porphyry, writing in the 3rd century AD, was an early critic of Christianity who rejected the idea of predictive prophecy. He argued that the detailed prophecies in the Book of Daniel, particularly those concerning the Greek period, must have been written after the events they describe. This assertion, though ancient, still echoes in the halls of modern biblical criticism. Furthermore, critics point out that pseudonymous works or forgeries often contain historical inaccuracies. They argue that the Book of Daniel is no exception, citing alleged errors such as the portrayal of King Belshazzar and the claim that Nebuchadnezzar went mad. While these arguments may seem compelling, it's important to note that many of these so-called errors are based on our current understanding of history, which is far from complete. Finally, critics argue that forgeries typically expand upon established characters and settings, a criterion that the Book of Daniel appears to meet. They suggest that the grandiose histories of Daniel's life in the Babylonian and Persian courts, complete with fiery furnaces and lions' dens, are the stuff of legend rather than history. These arguments suggest a 2nd century BC authorship, questioning the traditional view of Daniel as the author. Despite these arguments, there is substantial evidence supporting the authenticity of the Book of Daniel. One compelling piece of evidence is the book's historical accuracy. For instance, the book provides a detailed account of Babylonian and Persian customs, knowledge that would have been unlikely for a 2nd century BC author to possess. This accuracy supports the traditional understanding that Daniel, a Jewish exile in Babylon, penned the book in the 6th century BC. Moreover, the Book of Daniel's inclusion in the Septuagint, The Greek translation of the Old Testament further substantiates its authenticity. The Septuagint was completed in the 2nd century BC, meaning Daniel would have had to be recognized as canonical by that time. This contradicts the Maccabean hypothesis, which posits the book was written in the 2nd century BC. Another significant point of evidence is Jesus' reference to Daniel. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus identifies Daniel as a prophet and quotes from his book. This recognition from Jesus, who is revered as the Son of God in Christian belief, underscores the authority and authenticity of the Book of Daniel. Furthermore, the Book of Daniel doesn't bear the typical hallmarks of a forgery. It doesn't expand upon established characters and settings, and it isn't riddled with historical inaccuracies, as one might expect from a forgery. Instead, it presents a unique and consistent narrative that aligns with known historical events and customs. Now let's consider the implications of these arguments. If the Book of Daniel is authentic and was indeed written in the 6th century BC, then it contains accurate predictive prophecy. This would lend credence to the supernatural inspiration of the Bible, a cornerstone belief for many Christians. It would also counter the views of Neoplatonist Porphyry and others who argue against the possibility of predictive prophecy. On the other hand, if the book is a 2nd century BC forgery, as some argue, it would raise questions about the integrity of the biblical canon and the reliability of prophecy. However, the evidence we've discussed largely refutes this position. These pieces of evidence suggest a strong case for the authenticity of the Book of Daniel and its traditional authorship. Regardless of the ongoing debate, the Book of Daniel continues to be a revered text, studied and respected for its spiritual insights and prophetic messages. This ongoing debate has significant implications for how we perceive the Book of Daniel. The controversy surrounding the Book of Daniel's authenticity is not a trivial matter. It is a matter that has the potential to impact our understanding of this pivotal biblical book. The Book of Daniel, with its vivid accounts of faith, courage, and prophecy, holds a significant place in the canon of Scripture. The debate over its authenticity, however, has the potential to change how we interpret the book. If the book is seen as a 2nd century BC forgery, its prophetic visions might be dismissed as historical reflections rather than divine predictions. This could undermine the book's perceived authority and relevance, particularly in relation to its eschatological prophecies. Conversely, if the book is accepted as a 6th century BC composition by Daniel himself, its prophetic visions would be seen as genuine predictions that were fulfilled in history. This would reinforce the perceived authenticity and authority of the book, enhancing its relevance for our understanding of prophecy and divine revelation. The debate also affects how we evaluate the character of Daniel. If the book is a forgery, Daniel might be seen as a fictional character, and his faith and courage might be dismissed as literary embellishments. However, if the book is authentic, Daniel's character would be validated as a real historical figure, and his faith and courage would serve as inspiring examples for believers. The impact of this debate extends beyond the Book of Daniel. It influences how we view the Bible as a whole. If the Book of Daniel is seen as a forgery, it could cast doubt on the authenticity of other biblical books. But if the book is accepted as authentic, it would affirm the reliability of the Bible and its divine inspiration. This is especially important for Bible scholars who are committed to upholding the integrity of Scripture. Additionally, this debate shapes the discourse around the nature of prophecy and divine revelation. It invites us to consider whether the prophecies in the Book of Daniel are genuine predictions of future events or merely reflections on past events. This debate challenges us to wrestle with the tension between divine foreknowledge and human free will, and pushes us to explore the boundaries of our understanding of God and his interaction with the world. In conclusion, the debate over the authenticity of the Book of Daniel has far-reaching implications. It affects how we perceive the book, how we interpret its contents, and how we understand the nature of prophecy and divine revelation. As we see, the controversy surrounding the Book of Daniel's authenticity continues to shape our understanding of this significant biblical book. The authenticity of the Book of Daniel remains a contentious issue among scholars. We've delved deep into this topic, exploring both sides of the debate that has been ongoing for centuries. We began by examining the arguments against the authenticity of the Book of Daniel. Some scholars, often influenced by the Neo-Platonist Porphyry's views on predictive prophecy, challenge its authenticity, suggesting it's a pseudonymous forgery. The Maccabean hypothesis posits the book was written in the 2nd century BC, a theory primarily based on the detailed prophecies in Daniel that align with events of that period. Then we ventured into the counter-arguments supporting the book's authenticity. These arguments often highlight the historical accuracies present in the text that forgeries typically lack. We also noted the book's inclusion in the Septuagint, the Greek version of the Hebrew Scriptures, and how Jesus himself referred to Daniel, indicating his recognition of the book as part of the Scripture. The grouping of the Book of Daniel in the writings, rather than the prophets, in the Hebrew division of biblical books, adds another layer to the dispute over its authenticity and dating. While some see this as a challenge to Daniel's prophetic status, others interpret it differently, arguing that the book's placement does not diminish its prophetic value. What's clear is that the debate surrounding the authenticity of the Book of Daniel has significant implications for its perceived authenticity. It influences how we interpret the book, and indeed how we understand prophecy, history, and the divine inspiration of the Bible. In the face of these complex and often contentious debates, it is crucial to remember that our understanding of the Bible is a journey, one that requires an open mind and heart. As we continue to explore and study the Bible, let us remember to approach these debates with open minds and hearts.